Hello. This week, I've been rationalising, how I've got things set out in my new workshop, and I've been going through some of my supplies, my scatter and flock and things like that. And I've noticed that I'm running very short of my own soil mix. I've got some, well, plenty really, so I don't need to do the ultra fine, but I've got some ultra fine, but I've not got nothing in the middle. So I thought I'd better top that up. And I thought, well, I might as well bring you along and just show you what I do and how I mix up my own soil scatter. So basically, first place is the garden to go and gather some soil. I'm not going to try and film this because it's not over great out there, but I'll just capture a few photographs and then I'll bring you back in here. Right, so I take my little pot and spoon out into the garden, dig myself a bit of soil. It's got a bit of compost in it, but it'll be fine. So then I spread it out on an old baking tray and put it in the oven on, say, gas mark 7. Only 25 minutes and it comes out dry and ready to use. Right, so here is my freshly baked soil. Now, obviously, it wasn't just to dry it out, it's also to make sure that I'm not leaving any microscopic baddies in there, things that are going to make it go funny on the projects. So it's completely neutral now. I just gave it half hour in the oven, so that's plenty dry enough. I mean, there are a few stones in here, but we're going to be sieving it anyway. So that's the first process. Let me get a little tray because I don't want to get it everywhere. So I'll get my first pot. For the time being, I'm just going to tip this thicker stuff to one side. I'm not finished with it yet, but you can push some of it through because obviously there's going to be just dried out clumps and things, and they will break down. You can roll them around in the sieve. This goes a long way when you're using it, so you don't need to make too much. And at the end of the day, the main ingredient's free, so it's not going to go away. That said, when I last made this, I was down in Leicestershire, so this will be the first since moving up to Yorkshire. I should imagine it'll be really good than ours. But we'll soon see. So if I just bring that up to show you, you can see it now. Let's put a light on it a bit. That's really as fine as I want it this time. Right, so now that we've got our sieved soil, I'm going to be adding some wall grout. Now this one's just a brown grout. You can get it in different colours, so if you wanted to mix this with something else you can do. Make up different types or different, you know, soils from different areas. And basically what I tend to do is I tend to go for, well, near enough a 50-50, perhaps a little bit less of the grout than the soil. So I'll just spoon this in. So that's 1, 2, 3. 4 of the soil. That's 2, probably nearer 3 actually. It's not exact. Basically what this is going to do is whenever I put this down, you know, it's obviously going to use the moisture from the glue, will react with the grout, and then it'll also make it even harder when it sets. And just give it a good mix. There we go. If I bring that up for you, as you can see, you know, if you're looking for a soil finish down, what's more realistic than soil itself? And as I say, with the grout being in it, it'll toughen and harden around everything else you've got down. So like these stones, for instance, that are picked out from the rougher mixture, obviously, you know, like when you're laying down flocks and stones and things, you start with the biggest stuff and work down to the finer stuff. Well, if you imagine them, you know, plopped in place with a bit of PVA and then this scattered around it, it's going to add to that bond, and you're not going to get any kind of, you know, stuff falling off it on the battle table. So with that one, that I'm going to leave as it is. So this, I'm just going to call it fine soil. Not ultra fine, but fine soil. Right, now the next one, again, I'm going to put in 2, 3, 4, 5. Just basically using all of it. I'm going to call that 6. But with this one, I want it to have a bit more texture. So I picked up a bit of sand down the local beach actually, and that's got little bits of grit in it and everything as well, which I think will mix quite well with this. Obviously I sieved out anything major, went through the same process of baking it in the oven to make sure there's no nasties in there. Now I've got 6 soil, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add 3 of these. To one side. Right. Obviously you've got that in there plus the original soil. So I'm going to add 4 of these. Well, that were a heat one, so I'm going to say 3. 2. Once you've got this open, you want to make sure you get it in a container, because I tell you, it'll soon go hard if you haven't got it, you know, protected. Let's put the lid on. So that's it now. You can see that that one is just a little bit rougher. And what you can do, you could even separate half of that out again and then add some very fine stones to it. So you've got, you know, all kinds of different gradients. But I find these ones are the most useful. Right, let me just tidy my bench and I'll just tip a small sample out and let you have a look at them a bit closer up. Right, so just put a small sample out now. Not quite sure how clear it's going to turn up on the camera. Hopefully you'll be able to see something of it. So starting with this one, I think you can see that it's got more of a coarse grit to it, this one. That'd be like standard soil if I want to use it in a garden or something like that, or at the edge of a field. This one, yeah, you could still use this fields and things like that, but it's got some grain in it, but it's slightly finer. I'd probably again use it, you know, I'd start out with a coarse and have some of that mixed in with it. And then you've got this ultra fine stuff, which is very good for getting like the first layer down or dust onto roads, because once you've got it on there you can blow it around really easy and it looks really good, you know, like for a dusty road. And then here is just a few of the little pull that onto camera. Just a few of the little stones that I've picked out of the original mix. So, as you can see, you know, I've got 4 lots of scatter that I can use on the models. And what have I used? Probably about, I don't know, 8 scoops of grout that's cost me anything. The rest of it's free. What have I spent on it? Probably an hour all told with the cooking time. And the beauty of this is it's endless for you, you know, with whatever imagination you've got, because you could add more to it. You could add fine stones to a mix, so it's already mixed. You know, a bit like one of these things that you can buy where, you know, you dip your miniature in there and it's based, you know, like a base ready. So you could mix in bits of flock and whatever with these. But it just gives you a greater variety. And, you know, in the past I got a bit tired of just buying soil and, you know, scatter mixes. None of them were very convincing. And this seems a lot better resource to use. Right. I'll leave it there. I mean, what I will do is I'll obviously bottle that up. So I've got my coarse, medium and ultra fine, and they're ready for the next project. So hopefully you found some of this useful. If it's, you know, if it's something you'd like to see more of, you know, some of the other things that I do to make my own flocks and stuff like that, just drop me a comment. If there's enough interest, I'll have a look at showing a few more of these. If it's not been for you, I'm sorry about that. It's just I thought it might be a useful thing to show because I often use it, but I don't think until now I've actually shown it. So, right, I'll see you again soon. If you have liked it, or if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and perhaps give me a thumbs up. And as I say, drop me a comment. And as I've said in the last couple, you know, if you want to see me do something, making some terrain a bit different, something, you know, perhaps outside of World War II, as I've said before, I'm happy to give things a go. Just give me the feedback and let me know what you'd like me to have a go at. So, okay then, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you again real soon. Bye.